Hi everybody, Alex Employer from Expert Forex, and in this video we're going to be looking at the Market Volatility Analyzer, which is now available to our Premium Advantage 4 members as a free tool. It runs on MT4, and if you're one of those premium members, you can download it today. So why is currency volatility so important? I must say, when I started trading, I never paid attention to currency volatility. So if I were used to like a 30 pip target, that's what I used no matter which currency I was trading. After a while, I soon realized the importance of currency volatility, and on your screen you can see two currencies. The one has a high for the day and a low for the day that determines the range in which it trades. So it's basically just the range in which these currencies trade. And in this case, this currency traded 167 pips during the day. Then you have another currency where the high for the day and the low for the day, the difference is only 60 pips. So during that period, the currency only moved 60 pips. Now that gives you a feel of what I'm talking about when I say currency volatility. So you get high volatility currencies and low volatility currencies. So why is that important? Well, for instance, I mentioned already, you don't use the same stops and targets for low volatility currencies as you use for higher volatility currencies, because they have to be proportionately higher or lower depending on your support and resistance areas. That's one area where you need to adjust your thinking. The other one is that high volatility currencies are inclined to trend more easily than the low volatility currency. The low volatility currencies are inclined to trade sideways. So if you have a trading technique like a breakout technique or a trending technique, you want to use high volatility currencies. And if you have a sideways techniques like the grid trend multiplier or something like that, you want sideways currency, so you'd use low volatility currency. And it also helps with your trading decisions. Let's say you've got a great setup in the Euro USD, and you have a great setup in the pound yen, and they are almost the same thing. They set up exactly the same. How are you going to decide which one to take? And in general, what I would do is I'll always take the one with the highest volatility, because that is the one that will break out quickly, go positive quickly. I can move my break even stop in very quickly and that type of thing. So I like high volatility currencies for certain trades. And there are a lot of other advantages to knowing the volatility of a currency. Now, luckily enough, there is a free indicator that occurs on almost any platform, and that is called the ATR. It stands for the average to true range of a particular currency, and I'm going to show you that indicator in a little bit more detail later on. So based on the ATR readings, we have created a market volatility analyzer that will give you a lot of information. Firstly, it will tell you the volatility of individual currencies. So you can have a look at an individual currency and determine its volatility. Then you can determine the relative volatility of currencies by comparing the one's currency's volatility with the other currency. So you suddenly now you can start saying, oh, that's a high volatility currency and that's a low volatility currency. So that allows you to classify your currencies into high volatility, medium volatility, and low volatility currencies. Now, even within the currency, you can also determine whether what the long-term volatility of the currency is, the medium-term volatility of the currency is, and the short-term volatility of the currency. And I'll show you a few examples of that too. And by knowing those three, you can also get a good idea of the changing volatilities within currencies. Now, this tool that we've created tells you all of that, and it's got beautiful colors that help you find that kind of information. What's more, you can do it on a daily time frame, on a 4-hour time frame, and on an hourly time frame. And those are the most important ones to look at when you're looking at currency volatility. So let's go and have a look at some charts, and let's load this new indicator. It is an indicator, but we load it as a an EA, and let's go and have a look at that. Okay, so on your chart, you can see the New Zealand USD, and I'm going to load the ATR on this chart. This is the daily chart. I've used the daily to give you a bigger picture. So how you find the ATR is you go down into the indicators. It is an oscillating indicator. In other words, it's telling you by what range does the currency oscillate? In other words, go up and go down every day. So we go into oscillators, and there it is, number one, average true range. Click on that. I like a nice bright yellow with a thicker line. Let's go for the default of 14. And let's load this on, and here it's telling us that over that period, as you can see, it was just doodling around there. It had a nice steady low range, and in fact, let's go and have a look. The range was roughly 60 pips over that particular period, and then suddenly there was, and I think this was the COVID period, because this was February last year. The COVID period kicked in, and the chart went down, and the volatility increased tremendously. People panicked like crazy because of the COVID-19. Then there was this strong recovery, and they suddenly realized New Zealand is a very strong country in terms of COVID, because they had it under control. They went into lockdown. They had very few cases, and their currency started improving tremendously. So and then the volatility calmed down. It didn't quite go down to the levels that it was before, but it calmed down, and there is the volatility. So that gives you an idea of volatility. There was a lot of volatility over COVID, and then it slowed down. And so now you know how to find the ATR, and you've got an idea of how volatility affects the trading. In other words, the candle sizes will be bigger in high volatility than in low volatility. That's another way of looking at it. So let's go and download our new tool. Now, in order to do that, we go to our Traders Premium Advantage forum. It's a fairly new forum, and for $20 a month, you can become a member of this particular forum. I'm going to quickly just run through the membership benefits. They're incredibly high. The discounts are the highest that you can ever get. Even existing clients don't get the discounts as high as these members get it. Their premium indicators, their free Udemy courses. There's a very active forum where lots of discussion is happening. We do regular market reviews. We do reviews of our live trading accounts. We trade our EAs on live accounts, and we review them, and we talk about the settings that were used and why some are doing well and why some aren't doing that well. There's special discounts of mentorship. There's special discounts on third-party services that is offered to the members. There's a 5-star manual trading course also with a very special discount. You can nominate your video topics. You can the launch discounts incredibly high. And when we have beta testing, we give the members of the forum preference to test new EAs and indicators. So that just gives you a very short idea of this forum. Really, for $20 a month, you should be a member of this forum. But there we are in the premium indicators. I'm going to just load it, and now bear in mind this forum is fairly it's been restructured. It's fairly new, so we're still building it up. And I'm going to click on the premium indicator section in the forum, and there's the market volatility analyzer. I'm going to go in there, and there it is. It's a bit of what you've already seen on the slides in there, and there is the actual analyzer. So I'm going to click on that, and it downloads into my download folder. I'm actually going to open it, and I'm going to show you in the folder. There it is, the market volatility analyzer, and what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to copy it, and then I'm going to close this. And there's a bit of a picture of, but we'll look at this in a little bit more detail. So now I'm going to go to the charts again. Okay, so here we are at the charts again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into File, Open Data Folder, MQL4, and experts, because this is an expert advisor, and I'm going to right click and paste it. And it says, I've already got it, so let's just replace the one that I've got. So there it is, it's in there, and I now close it. So now I open my navigator, I go down to expert advisors, and I have a look, and it is already there. Now, if it isn't there, what you do is you put your cursor on expert advisors, right click, and click on refresh, and it will load the analyzer that we've just loaded in. So all I do is I drag it onto the screen. I make sure that allow live trading is allowed, bills, all those are ticked, and I have the inputs, and the inputs are pretty simple. Which currency crosses do you want to look at? And I'm saying virtually all of them. I think that's the all the major ones that you can get. I don't want to look at gold at this stage. And then this indicator has long-term settings for the 18-hour and short-term settings. So I'm saying 50 is a long-term setting, 25 is medium, and 10 is short. Now you can change that to your requirements, but those are the default ones. And then you can change the colors on the actual indicator if you like. So that's all it really contains, and I'm going to click OK. And there it updates really quickly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just close this one. We don't need it anymore. Delete the indicator. And you can see this table as a 4-hour table or a 1-hour table or daily. I'm going to just close the 4-hour and close the 1-hour so that we only look at the daily. You can also increase the size of this table if you want, or you can decrease it, so it's actually quite manageable, and you can also move it around, and you can fold it up if you want. So it's quite a flexible one. And what it does, as I've said earlier, it gives you the readings of the ATR for the various indicators. So if we look at the top one there, the Aussie CAD, what it's saying is that on a daily basis, the Aussie CAD trades 60 pips over, remember, 50 days, as an average over 50 days. If we take it as an average over 25 days, it actually has increased slightly to 63 pips. And in the short term, now this is very interesting, it actually has traded 78 pips in the short term. So what is this telling us? This is telling us that the AUD CAD has become a lot more active or more volatile in the short term, because that reading is higher than the long term reading or the medium term reading. So already we have a lot of information about the Aussie CAD on its own, but it also allows us to say, all right, how does the Aussie CAD compare to other currencies that we're monitoring? And let's say the Euro New Zealand, there we are, that one's volatility is 126 pips, but the Aussie CAD is 60. So we're saying the Aussie New Zealand is double as volatile as the Aussie CAD. For instance, those are the kind of things. This table is quite nice because you can actually sort it. There's the sorting. There's the least volatile in the long term, and that's the most volatile in the long term. And these colors you see here are how we've sort low volatile, medium volatile, and high volatile currencies. It's done on a statistical basis, not on third. So these are all below average, these are around average, and those are well above average. And that's why you see so many more below average, because it's done on a statistical basis. So by sorting this, you can also say, if you're looking for low volatility currencies, you can immediately see by the colors where they are and where the high volatility currencies are. So that's for the medium term, for the long term, and then you can do the same thing for the medium term and for the short term. So now we have these two columns over here that say, what is the medium term trend like? So and I'm going to just sort it because this can also be sorted. So what it's saying for the euro pound, volatility is actually going down, because look, in the medium term it was 48, in the long term it's 55. So in the medium term it's actually going down. In the short term it's staying more or less the same, and that's why that reading is up there. And so you have those readings for the long term, the medium term, and the short term. Now, if we look, and then again, let's look at the short term. Let's sort the short term out. Now let's look at this particular one. So this is the euro franc. Long term 46 pips, medium term 51 pips, and then short term 71 pips. Now that immediately tells you that this currency is accelerating and becoming a lot more volatile than it's ever been. So if you are trading, this currency will have more tendencies to trend, and will become less useful as a sideways currency. So in the long term it used to be a sideways currency. In the short term it's starting to become a trending currency. And you can actually see here the ratios that they've worked out. The 77 compared to the long term is very high, and then in terms of the medium term it is also higher. So this currency, but if you look at that one, the Aussie, medium term it's actually gone down, long term it's gone up quite a bit. So it gives you a feel of the changes that are happening, the dynamics in terms of volatility in the market. So this is actually a very handy tool. It should be used by everybody. In fact, I look at volatility levels on a continuous basis in terms of setting EA stops and targets and that type of thing. Just a reminder, if you want to download this free tool to our members, then become a member. It's only $20 a month, and as I've illustrated earlier, there's just so many advantages that you get for that $20. I don't think I've mentioned enough the discussion element of this particular forum. If you look down here, you'll see that our active forum for discussion on any trading topics, you can see how many posts and topics have already been started in this fairly new forum. So it's a very active forum, and for $20 a month, again, I'm saying this is possibly the best bargain on the market. So so the process is join the forum, and then you can download this indicator as well as all the others that we've got planned in the next few weeks. Links to all of these websites will be in the description and in the first comment of this video. So from me, Alex Deploy, cheerio.